Hello everyone, and welcome to this episode. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you how to utilize the class schedule in choosing classes. Where I'm going to go is I'm just going to scroll here to where I see Fall 2020 class schedule. Clicking on that will actually link me out to the main campus Fall 2020 class schedule. Now what you can see is it's all alphabetically. This is browsing subjects or departments. So rather than going through this whole list, unless you know exactly what you're looking for, it can be really helpful to utilize the filter classes option on the left-hand side. For example, let's say that I knew I wanted to take a fine arts course during the fall. Well, clicking on our Gen Ed and bachelor degree courses option will give me some other options to choose from. So in this case, in this example, I'm looking for a fine art exploration course. Clicking on this will actually narrow down all of my options, only showing me classes that have a fine art designation. Like I said, this is really nice because departments are shown alphabetically if I go back. And so being able to kind of narrow that down with my filter shows me only my fine arts options. Other things to look at would be class sessions. So we do offer classes that are first half, second half of the semester. These are going to be accelerated, so just keep that in mind. Something like other course attributes. These could be if you are part of the Honors College, if you would like to be part of the LEAP program, the Block U program. This is going to be a good place to just filter out those options. If you're looking for a specific type of class, this could be something like online. If you are only looking for an online class, selecting this option will show you the departments that are offering online classes, and then you can select from there. So we're going to go through an example of a class that all students are going to need at some point before they graduate, and that's going to be our writing course for graduation. So as an example, I'm going to have you click on the W, and it will take me to the very bottom where I can see Writing and Rhetoric Studies. Clicking on this will give you all of the courses that the writing department offers. And I'm going to tell you a couple of good things to keep in mind. So, clicking on this will show me Writing 210, Intermediate Writing. Now, what I can show from this class is that because there are only 3 numbers, 2, 1, and 0, this class is not for credit. If you are an incoming freshman matriculated student trying to obtain a bachelor's degree, this is not the class that you want. You want to skip to credit classes, which are catalog numbers 1000 and higher. So these classes have to have 4 numbers in order to be for credit. So the class that I'm referring to that you have to have in order to graduate is going to be Writing 2010. Now, if you are placed into 1010, that's completely fine. That would be the class that you would take before being able to take 2010. Writing 2010 is our intermediate writing. This is a class that we usually recommend for your first semester, if not your first year at the University of Utah. Using this as our example, I can see Writing 2010. This is the class I've identified that I need. This number here is going to be the section number. So as we can see, there's many sections of Writing 2010. I see Section 1, Section 2, Section 3. This class has many sections because it's a class that's required for all students. It's our intermediate writing. Here we can see some additional information such as class number. This is the unique class number that you can identify when you're registering for classes. You can see it's going to be in person. I can see it is 3 credit hours. And I can see down here the days and times that it's offered and the location. So this is the building and the room number. Now, this is a good point to look at for what I mentioned earlier. This class is only going to be the first half of the semester. So if you are wanting a full-length semester course, which is going to be the more traditional option, you're going to want to scroll and look for one that does not have anything written there. Now, what I can see is over here on the right-hand side, it says WR2, and that's going to complete your lower division writing requirement for graduation. Clicking on this button that says Class Details is going to give you a little bit more information. It's going to show you if there are any prerequisites, the requirement designation, so what you would be completing with this class, and a short description of the course. Now, if you're wondering, am I going to be able to add this class? How can I see if it's full or not? By actually clicking on the WRTG 2010, this will show me all of the sections offered. So I can see there's section 1 clear down to section 94. Now, that just shows me all of these options. Now I can see here that the enrollment cap, so how many students are allowed to be in each section, is 23. Currently, there's actually 14 people enrolled in this particular section, and I'll do the math for you and tell you there's 9 seats available. So this is something where if you're looking for a specific class, you try to add it to your schedule, it won't let you. It's going to actually probably be because it's full or there's a wait list. So this is really good to keep in mind and identify courses that are going to be more full. Now, what I also want to show you is we can see that most of these are in person. However, once I start getting into the higher section numbers, there's a couple things to look out for. What you're going to see is starting at section in the 70s or 80s is it's going to actually tell you the location is Sandy. So for those students who are maybe out of state, not as familiar with our Sandy campus, this is going to be in a different city. So make sure you know that if you're interested in taking a class at the Sandy Center. That's going to be sections that are in the 70s or 80s. Now, for sections in the 90s, these are actually going to be all online. So again, another thing to keep in mind. It will let you know when you're registering for the class, whether it is online at Sandy or on main campus, but please just make sure that you identify that ahead of time. When looking for classes, it's always good to make sure you read the description. There are some courses that are reserved for specific cohorts of students, scholars groups, things like TRIO, LEAP, Block U, that may have a specific section. Some of these will let you know it's a hybrid course, so you'd actually be working online as well as the 1 day per week on class. There's a phone number if you have additional information, but it's really important to make sure that you are reading the description of each of these. Usually you won't be able to add a class that has specific requirements unless you've met those, in which the department would provide you a permission number or a permission code to be able to add this course. And this completes our overview of the class schedule. Again, the more that you play around with this, the more comfortable you'll become in how to identify specific classes. At the very top, you can see for the department advisors, you can see the academic advisors and any department notes. So there are things like prerequisites where if you actually add a class that you're not supposed to, you could be removed from it. So it just gives you the location of this department. Writing and Rhetoric Studies is located in our Linco building, and a phone number in case you have any questions. So that should be the same for any of the other departments that you click on.